Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Of course, this is the Shankly Sessions, your Liverpool podcast that we bring you each and every week, where we discuss all things Liverpool FC, from news to transfers to player watch. Although we haven't had a lot to discuss in terms of transfers, but in terms of player watch, plenty to discuss. Joining me, as always, my partner on the Shankly Sessions, Dean. Welcome back, my man.
I'm back and ready as ever. Big day today, biggest game of the season so far. Can't wait for this, Niall. I really cannot wait for this game. Yeah. I'm buzzing. Mo Salah masterclass incoming.
Yeah, absolutely. Back ready and refreshed to go.
I wouldn't say refreshed now, considering the amount of alcohol I was consumed, but I'm back and ready.
Let's get into it anyway. I suppose top of the hour to discuss the Champions League draw. What a draw we got. Atletico, Porto and AC Milan.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the pots on what day was the draw? Thursday. I was looking at the pots and I was just divvying out like who would you be, yeah, like your ideal draw be, you know yourself. Like, well, as I said before the draw was made, like the top teams were all in pot two, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you're looking at like what would be the best and worst case scenario. When I wrote down the group, the dream group, I wrote down Lille, Liverpool, Liverpool. Can't think of who the third seed team was, and Sheriff. And I was like, that'd be a nice handy when you can play the likes of Harvey, Elliott, and Coach Jones. And then out of the three other pots, is like the three worst possible teams to get: Atletico Madrid, Porto, and AC Milan. I sent the picture into the group. Lo and behold, that's the fucking group we got. Come here, look, to be the best team in Europe, you have to beat the best teams in Europe. And for me, games like this, you know, you have to play at your best level to win them. So, in my opinion, I'm glad this is the group we got. I'm glad that we're going to be playing three of the best teams in the competition. You know, for AC Milan to be fourth seeds in the Champions League with the squad they have, Frank Kessie, Zlatan, you know, just to name two, you know, all 6 games are going to be tough. But if we can get through that group, you know, confidence is going to be sky high going into the knockout. Once we get through that group, we'll fear nobody. Not that we fear anybody anyway, but once we get through that group, we'll fear absolutely nobody in that competition.
Yeah, it sets up some mouth-watering ties, doesn't it, throughout the autumn and the winter, and it also adds to it that the fact that we've a lot of history with these clubs as well, you know, so the build-ups are going to be really good.
And it also means that there's a nice Champions League trip for the lads involved too, because home or away, there's 3 games that you don't want to miss. You know what I mean? All 3 teams have quality players involved. All 3 games, you know, we were at the Salzburg game, 3-0 up, back to 3-all, 1-4-3. Atmosphere was, you know, fans that watch the show will know when you go to Anfield nowadays, there is a lot of commercial tourist fans who just go and sit there taking pictures. I like going and singing my head off and have fans looking at you and say, well, you fucking shut up and watch the match. I don't get to go to games as often as I want to go, so when I do go, I'm going to let my voice be heard. But you always get that group game where you're probably your fourth seed team, where it's a kind of a given that you'll win the game. There's going to be 3 games where Anfield is going to be like full fettle under the lights. Players like Zlatan, players like Luis Suarez coming back, Atletico Madrid champions of Spain, Porto, you know, no pushovers by any means. They done well in the Champions League last year, so yeah, 3 mouth-watering prospect games and 3, you know, if we can get over to one of those games, home or away, we're going to be buzzing for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I also had a look last night at potentially going to the AC Milan game. I thought we might want to go to that because they're tearing down the San Siro, so it's going to be the last chance.
A piece of history.
Yeah. So, we'll look into that and maybe we'll do some podcasting over there if we get to that.
If anybody's watching the show involved in the club that can get us 6 tickets that wants us to give them a shout out while we're outside the San Siro, we're more than happy to take those tickets.
Absolutely. Let's move on. Robbo signs new long-term deal.
The main man. This is one deal I wasn't expected to be announced during the summer. We got Van Dijk, we got Alisson, we got Fabinho, we got Trent. We're hoping for Hendo, we're hoping for Mo Salah. Don't think any of us even mentioned it, Andy Robertson, and a new deal this summer. You know, not that he was going anywhere, but again, the backbone of the team, future captain of the club, already a leader in the dressing room. that William Wallace mad lunatic that you need going around slapping people in the face, roiling people up. You know, we've seen how like he's absolutely idolised by everyone involved in the club. I'd say other than our nearest rivals, I'd say there's fans of rival clubs that love him as well. You know, envious of what they'd like to have in their squad. Buzzing with this. Get Hendo done now. Get Mo Salah, sign and Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, and we're ready to go.
I was thinking when he re-signed there, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be gas if we drew PSG in the knockout stages of the Champions League? He'd be mouthwatering having another go off Messi, wouldn't he? Really?
Yeah, that clatter in the head.
Yeah, Messi just looking around.
Just looking at Messi like he was playing Sunday League in the park, just like What talking about, mate? Like,
and not a bother on him to have the balls to do it as well. It was absolutely quality. Like,
why not? You're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's only Leo Messi.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, he's a human. So I bet that guy to do it than Andy Robertson.
Absolutely. I should also mention in a bit of news, LFC TV, that new documentary is released, Off to the Match We Go, where the fans return. Absolutely brilliant. Check it out on LFC TV. Fantastic documentary.
Definitely will. I'm looking forward to that. You know, I love the Liverpool documentaries. You see City paying big money to get these behind the scenes. There's nothing scripted with Liverpool. The documentary and the fans tell their own story, and you know, whether you're involved in it or whether you're watching it, you know, you feel a part of it. It's not done for publicity. It's not done to commercialise a brand. It's basically done on the fact that Liverpool fans, as we said last night in the show, you know, we are Liverpool. This means more. And other fans laugh at that. I've seen you fucking, you know, tears in your eyes, saying you'll never walk alone. I've sobbed my heart out the day we played Everton in the FA Cup. Nothing means more to Liverpool fans than Liverpool Football Club.
Absolutely. I was intrigued this week. One Arsene Wenger rocked up to the AXA training centre with a wheelbarrow of awards for the lads, and I was going, the timing of this, of course, with the Champions League and the awards being given out, these were FIFA awards being given out to Alisson, Virgil, Trent and Thiago.
You wait for our only cheap awards. FIFA are the ones you want, the world-renowned awards. But Arsene Wenger rocking up, like, you just picture him with a Santi sack over his shoulder, can't you?
Yeah. It was gas to see it, and the way the lads put up the pictures and all, the five of them there with the awards and all. It was kind of nearly like a kick in the balls to the UEFA, really, isn't it? With their thing coming up, like
you just know that James Milner and Andy Robertson were sitting there just milling out jokes about the situation.
Yeah, I'd figured Milner was in the background behind the cameras and all, just winding the lads up, just laughing at them.
Yeah, like this, like, come on, take the piss.
Yeah.
But it's come here. Them awards completely passed my mind. You know, it's a great recognition again for the best defender in the world, the best goalkeeper in the world. You know, Trent. That's a massive boost in his confidence for the stick that and abuse he got for most of last season. And Thiago, you know, class is permanent. No temporary. Form is temporary. Class is permanent. You know, definitely. And for Jurgen, you know, just because we didn't win anything last year, you know, we still in the top 3-4 managers in the game. You know, and just to get that recognition, you know, with the fans coming back as well, like it all adds up at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's a massive boost for everyone involved in the club, whether they're in the team or whether they're supporters and fans.
Yeah, I thought it was nice as well, looking at the interaction between Wenger and Klopp. Obviously, two men that have huge admiration for each other, so it was fantastic to see that as well.
Yeah.
Just another news, the news that no kid wants to hear, of course, that LFC have just released their back to school clothing range, and I'm thinking kids never want to hear that. I remember as a kid talking about that back to school where you had to go and get your clothes and your books and bag and your station and all that kind of stuff. God, it killed me that week in the summer when you had to go back.
Yeah, I want to do the adult size Liverpool school uniforms. We could sit on the transfer show now on Tuesday night wearing that. Fuck's sake.
Absolutely. I had to scan down through some of the range though. It is really cool. There's some nice gilets and stuff like that now. Really cool stuff, like, you know.
Yeah.
Other news, a little bit of sad news, of course, that's reaching us, of course, is Terry McDermott, absolute club legend, was diagnosed with early stages of dementia there. Had 329 appearances for the club, scoring 81 goals between 74 and 82. So sad to hear that news. But this again, is becoming more prevalent with these older players, isn't it? That this dementia is coming through, and again, they're continuing on their studies on it and see how it's been affected in terms of football and stuff like that and all, you know. But we've spoke about it on many episodes on the Monday Mashup. But sad to hear that Terry McDermott was diagnosed with dementia. So
yeah, just for him to, when he talked about it, he said, I just have to get on with it, and I will. It's the way I've been brought up. Nothing has come to me easily. I'm not frightened of taking it on head on. You know, one of your heroes, one of my dad's heroes, one of your, I don't know who your father's for, but like one of my granddad's like heroes, you know, like they're proper old school real men, nothing fucking fancy about them, you know. And they played in a time where it was a lot fucking tougher nowadays than it is nowadays, you know, to make ends meet and to make a living. And sadly, you know, it's a lot of old players are coming out now and announcing that they've got dementia. And you know, from working in the healthcare system, and you see people with dementia, and you know, when they lose that dignity, and you know, things just completely pass them by. You just, you know, really, honestly, you know, I wasn't around. This guy wasn't around. My thoughts and prayers are with his family, because the battle that is ahead is too. It's too hard to even think about for them. So look, we love you, Terry, and you know, fight the fight, and you know, you've got fucking hundreds and thousands behind you. You know, you're not in this alone.
Yeah, and he says he's still going to the games and enjoying the games, and that's the main.
But that's what you want, you know. We seen with the Jack Charlton documentary, when he's sitting there at the end, you know, he burst out crying, and he's sitting there, and the part where the video comes on, and he's like, "Oh, there's Paul McGrath," but the part where the song comes on, and he's sitting there looking at it, and then he starts singing it. You know, those little tiny pieces of memory that stay with you. Yeah, you know, absolutely. Like, yeah. So love you, Terry, and we're thinking about you, pal.
Yeah. Also, we drew Norwich away in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, put out the under-16s again, you know. I know, come here, I'd rather get the Premier League teams than get the kind of the lesser teams, you know, which means you kind of have to keep switch on. It's all good for the lower teams when they get the big Premier League teams, you know, and the away day, or they have them coming down to your patch and all. But yeah, happy enough with that draw. I think whatever 11 we put out, we should get a win there. You know, Joe Gomez might come in right back, Samiskas play left back, Konate might start the game, you know. Yeah, we'll take it head on, and I'm sure it won't be a case of playing a second fiddle 11, but whatever 11 we do put out, you know, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Samiskas, or not Samiskas, Minamino, Oxlade-Chamberlain is there as well. So yeah, I think we'll progress comfortably.
Plenty of quality there to beat Norwich. Let's move on to player watch. Curtis, obviously, and Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott called up to the England under-21 squad. No surprise in that. Two absolutely special talents without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, we've ranted and raved about Curtis or about Harvey Elliott for as long as people listen to me. Thoroughly deserved, in my opinion. You get players getting called up to the international scene just because of the club they play for, when they probably played about 6 minutes football. But I think in the two games Harvey Elliott's been involved. I know we only played a few minutes the first game of the season for Liverpool, but I thought against Burnley he was absolutely outstanding. Thoroughly deserves this, and again, sticking by what I said, I think this guy is the future of Liverpool Football Club. And I've seen a lot the last couple of weeks about Liverpool fans having a go at Curtis Jones, saying he's 20, he's not really done much. It's hard to do much in a team when you've got that quality around you. And for me, the games that he has played in, he's been very, very good. He's going to get a lot more game time this year with, you know, French players leaving, you know, and he's still trusted by Jurgen Klopp. So us armchair fans need to kind of sit back and, you know, support this guy. He's only a kid. He's only a kid, you know what I mean? He's playing in a difficult situation with the players that we had, the players that we have in the middle of the park, and the situation that we had last season, where, you know, it would have been nice for these guys to get a couple of games, but obviously time told that, you know, it just wasn't possible. So we will see a lot more of him this year when he comes back. But congrats on the call-ups, and totally deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. And following on with the call-ups, obviously into the senior England team, Trent and Hendo were called up, but also our own Caoimhín Kelleher has been called up to the Ireland squad as well, which is fantastic news.
That's absolutely, for me, he should be Ireland's number one, hands down. No bias there at all, being a Liverpool fan. The games that he has played for, he came on for Ireland second half of friendly there, and the saves he made, you know, his distribution, looks like a leader for a young lad. He's a leader from the back. The games he played for Liverpool, he was frighteningly good. He's playing his trade, one of the best, their best goalkeeper in the world. And for me, again, not being biased, being a Liverpool man, but Ireland aren't exactly laced with talent, and he should be Ireland's number one. And this could be the game. This could be the international break now to kickstart that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to remind you, this is the Shankly Session, your Liverpool weekly show. So, Dean, you can be as biased Liverpool as you want.
Sorry,
we don't have to explain ourselves to anyone on this.
I am being biased as a Liverpool fan. He should be Ireland's number one.
Klopp came out and made comments on the Champions League draw, saying we should be really excited about this draw. I know you touched on it already, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, we already touched on the fixtures, the history, going through that whole autumn under the lights at Anfield. You know, we'll relish this, and I'm glad that's what he came out and said. You know what I mean? I've no problem with this draw at all.
I laughed out loud when I seen the draw. I laughed out really loud. Yeah, Porto were going to want to give us a stuffing because I think we scored about 64 goals against them in 3 seasons in the Champions League. We all would let the go Madrid for what happened at Anfield that night, where the last game before that game should never have happened. We, in hindsight, we know that now, but that game, yeah, we owed them a beating. And then AC Milan.
Yeah.
Didn't need to say any more than 2005. You know, the history there is, yeah, it's going to be. I really do hope we get to a game home or away for the Champions League, because 3 special nights.
Yeah, Alisson came out with comments this week on the start of the season saying, so far, so good. Of course, the calmness of Alisson that you would expect, but says, we go with our best. And that's really
all we can go with. You know, it's only 2 games in. We watched if anyone has tuned in for this, go back and watch our preview on the Chelsea game. It's only 2 games in, but with City already dropping points, Man United all dropping points. Obviously, Spurs have won 2 out of 2. You can't go with anything other than your best. You know what I mean? Whether it's the 4th game or the 38th game, you know, you have to be going 100%. And that's why I think tonight we're going to set a precedent. Full Anfield. We owe Chelsea for what they done to us at Anfield last year. People talked about us being done as a team. You know, we have a full team back tonight. Fabinho's back in the middle of the park. You know, we have that dilemma of top. Do we play Firmino or do we play Jota? You know, it's from the predicament we were in last year to what we're going with now. And I think he speaks for everybody. You know, so far, so good. Let's do the business tonight. And for the 4th time this in 24 hours, a Mo Salah masterclass is coming tonight. I really do think that he's going to turn up tonight, and Anfield is going to go through the fucking stratosphere.
Hopefully, that's what we're expecting anyway. Jurgen Klopp the other day asked what was his favourite moment of the Burnley game, and it wasn't the 3 points, it wasn't the goals, it wasn't the performance, it was the roar that greeted the team when they walked out onto the pitch. I know this roar, we've experienced it firsthand. It gives you absolute shivers down your spine, doesn't it?
He talked about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. It was like every single interview we done, at the end, he'd always say, we can't wait to have you back. When we won the league without the fans, he was like, this is for all of you. We will see you soon and all. I think you could sense the excitement in him the closer it got to the Burnley game. And, you know, we were sitting in a boozer in Kusadasi watching it. And they have music playing. Most of the pubs over there when the sport on, there's music playing and all you can see is the telly, but there was only 4 or 5 of us in there. And we just said to the bar manager, any chance you can turn the music off and just turn that telly up a bit? And he was like, oh, I can't. And I was like, it's literally just for the teams coming out and you'll never walk alone. And I got goosebumps. You know, the place went ballistic. Like, we were talking about that documentary there, you know, after the match we go, like, they should only just, like, I've watched the videos all week, that you'll never walk alone, the 97 mosaic. It was just getting goosebumps now, even thinking about it. Was like, there's nothing means more to me, and nothing as perfect and beautiful as Anfield, in like when everything is going well and the fans are back and the mosaics up. Like, it just, I don't care what any other fans say. For me, Anfield is the place to be on match day.
Yeah, even that first rendition last week of Bobby's song was something special, wasn't it? When Bobby came out.
I was singing it in the pub when he came on. I was just, and the lads were like, he hasn't even scored yet, and I was like, Bobby Firmino was my guy, lads. I don't care what he does.
It's only a timing thing. Bit of team news for the Chelsea game. Obviously, Robbo was past fit, which is fantastic. I think he probably goes back in the side, but I think Samiskas has done a great job anyway. But I think Robbo has to go back in for this. We need that kind of steely Scottish way about him, don't we?
Yeah, and I don't think the Greek. It came out this week now that Samiska's nickname is the Greek Scouser. So I believe he loves it. Like, I wonder why. I don't think he'd be disappointed. This could go one or two ways. He could play that game and get torn asunder. I don't believe he would. I just think for leadership skills, that partnership he has with Virgil, at the game of this magnitude so early into the season. Samiskis, I did talk about him saying that he has a massive opportunity. I think he's grabbed it with both hands, 2 clean sheets, an assist last week. Very, very composed on the ball, bar that one mistake where he got clatter off James Milner. But I believe whoever it was that made that mistake probably would have got a clatter off Milner just to wake up and stay tuned in. I would say that was forgotten about once the game was finished, but he's really took his chance with both hands. But just think a game at this magnitude, if Andrew Robertson is fit, he starts 1,000,000% every day of the week. You want your best 11 on the pitch, and tonight's the night. This is we're going to war to lay down a marker. Everyone is going to be watching this game, tuned in. If whoever wins this game here, it's only 3 games in, but it's a huge step towards, what's ahead for 35 more games for going for the league.
And of course, when you're finished watching this, if you want to head over to the Dynamo Podcast Network, we do have the Liverpool-Chelsea previews up there. The boys came on last night and we had a great dissection of the teams and where we think the key battles would be and our predictions, of course. So we'll see how they go. Milner, obviously, ruled out. But one thing that really I was happy about the other day, Fabinho back in training. Sad to hearing about the sudden loss of his father and stuff like that, but I often find in these situations, the best way to get through that is to get back to what you do best and being around the people who can give you the most support. And certainly Liverpool Football Club is one of those clubs that gives you as much support as they can when these things happen.
Yeah, like you're going to have 50-odd thousand fans with their arms around you tonight when you come out onto that pitch. And he'll be reminded of, let's say, whenever he gets the ball, the first few minutes, there'll be a massive cheer for him. Desperately sad, like in the space of what, 7 months? No, space of 8-9 months. Jurgen's lost his mother, Alisson's lost his father, Fabinho's lost his father. And how have they coped with that? With Liverpool fans, massive backing from other teams as well. But as you said, when you're dealing with that kind of, you can't turn your back from it. You have to get back in and do your job, regardless of what kind of line of work you're in or what life you're living. Best way to get on with it is to get thrown back into the deep end. And, I'm sure the lads have backed him 100%. I'm sure Jurgen has. But when he walks out onto the pitch today, when he gets that ball first time around, he'll be letting know that everyone is behind him. And, I swear to God, Niall, completely off subject, I'm just sitting here fucking buzzing for this game tonight. I genuinely do think that we're laying down a marker tonight.
Yeah, well, hopefully his father's looking down on him with a bit of luck and he performs great today and has a great game. Hopefully he's at the side. Van Dijk came out, he says, we were buzzing, we need the fans. It's interesting when Van Dijk says this as well, because he's such a calming influence there, to think that he would be buzzing and he's so calm, he must bottle it up inside and stuff like that. So absolutely fantastic from
yeah, it's mad, like for someone who's been at the club for such a relatively short time to know already what and to be able to not have the fans in the ground for 18 months, like to feel what we feel as fans, for a player to feel that as well, I cannot wait. Well, we're 8 weeks away from going over for the Brighton game. And I swear, and that Brighton game, I swear to God, it's going to be like I'm walking into a Champions League final. I cannot wait. We'll be doing a chat outside the ground, just in case anyone's watching as well. When we go out, we're going to be doing a live stream outside the ground to build up to the game. We're staying in the famous Henderson House, a couple of minutes away from Anfield. We're going to be down the hotel TIA. Hopefully Jamie Webster will be doing a bit of a sing-song before. We're going to be up at the Hillsborough Memorial. But, just to get on and just fucking talk with fans who, like ourselves, hopefully it's the first game back since the pandemic, and get those opinions, because I'm living for this like I'm going to a Champions League final, just to get in and feel that again.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy weekend for us that weekend. Really,
yeah,
good crack and lots of good footage and stuff.
We'll have to get those videos of the tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to transfers. We touched on it obviously on the transfer show, but a late approach for Yves Bissouma. Obviously, a player we'd love to see come in to slot into that kind of Gini Wijnaldum role and give us a bit of cover there, but also a box-to-box player and an outstanding midfielder. was outstanding against us last season. If you remember, had a great game against Liverpool as well.
Yeah. I'm always vocal about transfers and the lack of, and you're the calmness, I'm the madness. It's not so much as I'm angry about it, it's just the fact. I just think with Shankly going, and I think we need a couple of fresh faces in. And what's annoying me most is, like, there wasn't long ago that we were talking about Patson Daka coming in and Son Agaze coming in, and we were linked with Vlahovic, and we were linked with this fella and that fella. And if you look back on those podcasts, how excited we were. And now we're 4 days away, and still no one's being brought in. And I know you always talk me down off the ledge when I start going on my little rants and all, and you put that, like, kind of calmness and the arm around me, and like everything will be okay and all. Ace Basuma would be a quality addition to the squad. Relatively cheap considering the money that's being thrown around the football nowadays. Fill that hole that Genie has left void. Box to box, aggressive in the tackle, goals, assists. Adding to the quality that's already there in the middle of the park. Kanate has come in as well. I'd like to see us get another attacker in though. I'm not looking for mad money to be spent. I know, like, nowadays, especially attacking wise, there isn't that many options available. I'm just, like you said, I'm just hoping that Michael Edwards is sitting in the background there, and there's a deal going to be announced before Tuesday. I just think that we need that extra attacking option. I know Harvey Elliott is there and what have you, but I just think just that extra added bit of quality, just that fresh idea, coming. This season is going to be very, very strenuous.
Yeah, I think.
And
I just think with the predicament we find with Shaqiri we had, and with Origi and stuff like that, I think it's really important that we bring in the right quality of player in terms of creating that competition, that it's not just another body on the bench that we look to, you know what I mean? But I also think as well, when we were getting excited at that time about some of the players we were linked with and stuff like that, I don't think as fans, speaking for myself primarily and yourself, I suppose, I don't think we fully understood the magnitude of trying to renew all these contracts and that job that had to be done, which was absolutely massive. I mean, I think you're talking somewhere in the region of 6 or 7 players, but not only 6 and 7 players, there's 6 and 7 key players that are the absolute spine of the team, from Alisson through to Virgil, Robbo, Fabinho, and now Henderson, obviously, hopefully is going to happen soon. And obviously Mo Salah being the big one as well. So, like, it's a huge undertaking by the club, and a lot of money involved to renew these contracts. Because as you know, when you're renewing a contract and players potentially have options, you're not renewing it on the lower end, you're only going higher. And in some cases, when you look at it, some of those contracts might have even gone from 1 to 1.5 or even doubled maybe.
I believe Mo Salah, if he does sign, is going to be double what he's on, and it'll make him the highest paid player in Liverpool's history, and rightly so, because since he came into Liverpool, let's not forget, this fella is a winger, and his goals record and it blows me away.
Yeah. So the financial commitment of a contract like that is the equivalent of signing a player, and that's what we have to understand in terms of our structure. And that's what we forget as well. So, and again, I suppose the difficulty for Liverpool as well in terms of signing players is it's how you find a player that has an opportunity to break into that starting 11. And I know we get injuries and various things like that, but like, players aren't willing to sit on benches and at the quality that you want, unless you're bringing through youth or you're signing a player for the future or something like that. But you look at the length of time it's taken Curtis to try and break in. Look at Harvey Elliott, he's had to go out on loan to Blackburn, had an outstanding season to come back and have that opportunity and all, you know what I mean? So I think Liverpool is very calculated in the way it makes its moves. And Mike Edwards and Klopp, they're very shrewd in the way that they do their business. I still do think we will land a player. Maybe that player is Ace Basuma. But if we don't, I'm more encouraged by the fact that we hopefully have most of the spine of our team tied down long term, if not 3, 4, 5, 6 years in some cases.
If Ox and Naby Keita can stay fit, we've seen how good they can be. One thing I will say, no, sorry to cut you off.
No.
I go on. I'm an avid look. I look for Liverpool fan videos all the time, especially through the summer when there's no football on. I came across a video while I was in Turkey, you know, when the missus was in the dentist, I just watched, like, listen to podcasts and stuff while I was at the pool. And I came across the guy, doesn't do a podcast, Rams, just a Joe Soap fan, just chatting. He was doing a walk around Anfield and he got stopped and he was chatting away and he was asked about transfers and lack of activity. Considering Man City bought Grealish, they were interested in signing Harry Kane. Man United bought Varane and Sancho. Now they've brought in Ronaldo. Chelsea are bringing in Koundé and they've brought in Lukaku, and you look at the squad that they have. And you made a very valid point. Okay, the year Liverpool lost the league by a point, for me, they were the best team in the league. I know people might say, well, if they were the best team in the league, why didn't they win the league? For me, I thought we were the best team in the league. We were unlucky to lose the league by a point, right? That was the start of something special. We lost the Champions League final. You know, for me, we were the better team on the pitch until Salah got injured. We went and romped home in the league. We won the league title. We won the Champions League title. We are unbelievable. That set the precedent, all right? Manchester United, Chelsea, and City were chasing us. Last year happened where we lost nearly everyone that was involved in the squad for at least a period of time. So at some stage last season, everybody was injured, bar probably 2 or 3 players, right? We haven't made a massive investment at all under Jurgen Klopp. I think our net spend is minus 30 million or something. 30 million, I think it is, profit. I was watching the chat with Carragher and Neville. He said that Man United, City and Chelsea have gone out and spent this money to catch up on Liverpool. And it was only when he said it that I sat back and I thought to myself, if you look at the 2 seasons where we won the Champions League and the league, where we blew everybody out of the water, you know, no one gave us a chance of coming back, and everyone thought City are going to get better. We blew City away, and people were saying, but City weren't that great. No, it wasn't that City weren't that great. Liverpool were the best team under the sun that season, hands down, you know. Champions League, we were absolutely outstanding. Up until the 16th game of the season last year, we were top of the league. We looked like we were going to go on that run again and win the league, and then just catastrophe started. Because that was, when you think about it, we played, I think, about 7 games without Virgil, 5 or 6 or 7 games without Virgil, and we were still top of the league, and then just absolute carnage. It was like the Great Wall of China.
We lost Jota.
But it's just when he said it, he's like, all these teams have gone out and put themselves in debt to catch up with Liverpool. He said that, and I said this as well. Last season, I think, needed to happen, and I did say, regardless of whether we made any signings or not, that there's a fire under the belly. Everybody has written us off, Niall. You look at the money that's been pumped into the other top 3, you know, the spotlight is all on them. We haven't made massive investment other than Konate. So I think we'll just go under the radar. And again, when he said that, it made so much sense. Everybody's still playing catch up with us, and they've had to spend fucking hundreds of millions to do it.
Well, I suppose if you take a look at last season, and that run we went on was unbelievable to finish up at 3rd place. But if you think about it, if you look back on last season compared to this season, some would argue that Virgil is going to be like a new signing. You know, Gomez is going to be like a new signing. Mane, you know, is going to be like a new signing because he was such a big part player last year in terms of his form and everything else. Harvey Elliott coming into the squad is going to be a breath of fresh air. It's going to feel like a new face around the place. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Simic is stepping up in terms of cover there for Robbo. You know what I mean? So for me, all the signs are good. We just need a little bit of
keeping Jota fit for a season.
Keeping Jota fit. Obviously, Bobby is going to get his form back, hopefully with a bit of luck. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of really good things there bubbling at the moment. We haven't seen anything near the best of Thiago. So he's going to relish the fact playing at Anfield. Imagine, as you said, Thiago walking out today against Chelsea, that full Anfield house, full voice and stuff like that.
Can I just say as well, Niall, Naby Keita, first 2 games of the season was outstanding, in my opinion. Absolutely outstanding. He's doing that under the radar work that Jordan Henderson once done, Steve Finnan once done. You know, nobody's watching him. You know, he's working fucking relentlessly. He's bulked up. You've seen the size in him now, the difference from the last season to this season as well. Like, if we're not going to sign any more players, you know, you're looking at, as you said, you're looking at all these players as new signings that were out for such a long time last season. That's why I mean, even though we haven't, and I've been quite outspoken about the lack of signings, I'm very, very excited about this season because the spotlight, as I said, is on those set 3 teams. The money they've put in, the money they've already put in, and the lack of money that we've put in. If we don't win the league this year, you're going to have all the other fans coming out laughing at us. If we win the league and they don't, what does that make them?
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I'd say to fans as well, I mean, I know a lot of fans are looking around at other clubs and the business that they're doing, and they're kind of envious of it as well. But look, trust the gaffer. Trust the gaffer. The gaffer knows what the story is. Klopp knows what he's doing. Pep Linders knows what he's doing. Mike Edwards knows what he's doing. They're not stupid. If they felt that they needed to bring in big signings, they would bring in big signings. And a lot of people turn around saying, oh, the money isn't there and stuff like that. There is money there. There's no doubt there's money there. It's absolutely ridiculous coming say there's no money there. But these guys have a plan and they have a strategy. And they can't really plan around the fact that, you know, we might lose Virgil again, or we might lose Gomez again, or Mo Salah might get injured. You know, you can't plan and legislate for that.
But in saying that, Ronaldo could get injured straight away. Bruno Fernandes could get injured and be out. It's not just Liverpool players that could get injured. You know what I mean? Yeah. What happens if Lukaku goes out today and gets tackled like Van Dijk did and is out for the season? Had to spend 100 million. No, these things happen. Absolutely. Look at Luke Nealis. Many moons ago, Aston Villa's world record signing, first game of the season, snaps his leg in two, never played football again. I'm just using that as an example. Shit happens in football. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you back on. You were great
on the Reds
last week. Big game for the Reds today, 5:30 against Chelsea at Anfield. Full packed house. Going to be in full voice. Remember, fans, we need that 12th man. Get out there to shout your lungs out. Don't walk out of that ground unless your voice is gone. If you want to contact the show, Facebook, The Upper Tier. On Twitter, @SessionsShankly, of course, for the Shankly Session Show. On YouTube, Dynamo Podcast Network. Get over there, subscribe, like, and share. But hit that bell notification, of course. If you want audio versions of the show, if you prefer them, you'll get us over there on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, wherever you get the audio version show. And a little piece of other information that we want to drop. Tuesday is deadline day. Join us that evening on deadline day. We'll be doing a YouTube live. Me and Dino will be suited and booted like our good friend Jim White, and we will go and track through all the transfers that have happened this transfer window. And we'll also be bringing you any breaking news from any last minute transfers that are going to happen. All I can leave you with is, come on, the Reds. Let's go into the international break, top of the table. Come on, you Red men. Dino,
come on, the Reds. 3-2, stick it on the Bilkies.